Good morning, class.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you this day, class?
We're fine, ma'am.
Before anything else, I want you to pick up some pieces of papers and kindly arrange your chairs.
Okay, ma'am.
I guess everything is now fixed. Before we start, let's have a prayer first. And I want Rockwood Fabi to lead the opening prayer.
Let us stand for our prayer. Our most gracious and kind Heavenly Father, we thank you for this another day that you have given to us. And as we are going to start our class this morning, help us that we could fully understand or listen, forgive us and all our sins in Jesus' name.
Amen. Okay, class, you may now take your seats.
Thank you,
Ma'am.
At this moment, I will check your attendance. So, just say present if your name is called. Okay. Angel Sumalpong.
Present, ma'am.
Anna May Fabian.
Present, ma'am.
Rocklight Fabe.
Present, ma'am.
Shakira Fabe.
Present, ma'am.
Clifford Nunez.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Since I am now your new advisor, I will set my classroom rules. For the first rule, students must always be on time. For the second rule, you must be attentive to teachers' teaching. And for the third rule, there must be no vandalism is allowed in the classroom. For the fourth rule, you must always wear your complete uniform. And for the last rule, you must keep your classroom clean. For today's session, I am going to present to you the objectives. So these are now the objectives. At the end of the lesson, the student can identify and enumerate the strategies and how to use the concept of behaviorism and neo-behaviorism in the classroom. For the second objective, the student can able to identify and enumerate the primary laws of Thorndike's theory. For the third objective, the student can able to demonstrate and how to utilize the content of Tolman and Bandura's theory. And for the last objective, the student can demonstrate the techniques and how to apply the classical and operant conditioning in the classroom. By the way, class, our topic for this morning is about our topic for this morning is about behaviorism and neo-behaviorism. And we have here the facilitators to help us understand the topic and its subtopics. For the first facilitator, we have John Arnold Contestas.
Have a pleasant day to each and everyone. And I am John Armel Cotistas. And I will going to demonstrate the concept of behaviorism and neo-behaviorism. So, for the definition of behaviorism, let's call Miss Martinito to read.
Behaviorism. It is the projection and control of human behavior in which introspection and or independent thinking play an essential part of its teaching methods.
Thank you, Ms. Martinito, for your participation. And let's go to other concept of neo-behaviorism. And let's call Ms. Servano to read the definition of it.
Neo-behaviorism is a branch of psychology that draws its principle from behaviorism. Neo-behaviorism is a behavior cannot be fully understood simply in terms of observable stimuli and reactions, Neo-behaviorism introduced mediating variables into the behaviorist stimulus response skill.
Thank you, Mr. Valo. Neo-behaviorism is have other meaning here. Neo-behaviorism is more flexible concept and seek to analyze and understand phenomena that cannot be measured or observed, such as stress, love, trust, empathy, or personality. Since we all know the concept of these two, the behaviorism and the neo-behaviorism, now let's have an activity. The name of this activity, show me what you've got. So let's have two groups. The first group will here in the right side, and the other group will be in the left side. So let's have 5 minutes to study with your group the content of this concept. First group will be assigned to report behaviorism, and the other group will be assigned to report neo-behaviorism. Now, time starts now. Now, your time is over. Present your work in front.
Okay, sir. Behaviorism. So, it is the production and control of human behaviors in which introspection and or independent thinking play no essential part of its teaching methods. So, it talks about here, if you are a teacher, if your behavior they showed to your students, they also adapt the behavior of their teachers. That's all, sir.
And now we have the neo-behaviorism. So we discussed it in our group that neo-behaviorism departs from the classic behaviorism in that while the latter is concerned exclusively with observable behaviors, the former acknowledges the importance of also understanding elements that are internal to the individual. Thus, whereas classical behaviorism is only concerned with the environment as a determinant of behavior. So, neo-behaviorism stresses the interaction of the individual and environment.
Okay, thank you for your participation, and you've got perfect score. And thank you for your idea. That's all on my topic, and let's proceed to other presenter.
Okay, good morning class. Since I am now your facilitator for this subtopic, instead of setting visual aids in front, I will just give you the handouts. By the way class, the title of this subtopic is The Three Primary Laws of Theory. And at this moment, I will give each student a topic. Clifford and yes, this topic is for you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Idil Hantilia, this is now your topic.
Thank you, ma'am.
Go.
CBI and Belsa, this is now your assigned topic.
Thank you, ma'am.
You are required to study your topic within 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes, you are going to identify and enumerate the realm of your assigned law in a form of singing. Just perform your song in 1 minute. For the first presenter, I will call Clifford Nunez.
This song is entitled Law of Effect. State a connection between stimulus and response. Connection between stimulus and response is weakened when the consequence is negative. Measurable consequences do not motivate performance. That's all. Thank you.
For the second presenter, I will call Idel Huntilia.
This song is entitled Law of Exercise. This is more a stimulus. Response bond is practiced. The stronger it will become. Practice with a feedback. does not enhance performance. That's all. Thank you.
And for the third presenter, I will call Subiayan Dalsa.
This song is entitled Law of Readiness. States that the more readiness, the less to respond. That's all, thank you.
Thank you so much for participating in this activity, class. You did great. And for the next facilitator, we have Florian Tao.
A pleasant afternoon to each and everyone. My name is Florpe Angkatuntan. So our topic today is about Tulman and Banduras. Before that, I will introduce a short introduction. Tulman and Banduras theories. With new researches, explanations we provide, but the rules of behaviorism offer that not satisfy all learning scenarios. New theories came into views which maintain some of the behaviorism concepts that included others and added with new ideas later came to be associated with the cognitive views of learning theories. The new behaviorism, then more transitional group bridging the behaviorism and cognitive theories of the learning. So, but the question is, what is the new behaviorism? Anyone? The question is, what is Tollman principles behaviorism? Anyone?
Tollman's purposive behaviorism, or aka science learning theory, learning is a cognitive process. Learning is acquired through meaningful behavior.
Okay, your brilliant answer. So now, let's proceed to our topic. Okay, so Tollman and Banduras theories. So, Tollman believed that learning is mediated or is influenced by expectations, perception, presentations, need, and other international or environment variables. And then, Albert Bandura's social learning theory is a social learning theory focuses on the learning that occurs with a social context. So, that is the Tollman and Bandura's theories. So now, since you are few, I will group you into two groups. So, each group they have two members. So, Princess and Catherine you'll be report the Tollman theories. And then, Jan and Christine, you'll be the report about Bandura's theories. So now, I will give you 5 minutes to discuss to your group. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. So now, the group 1 is ready to discuss your topic.
In Group 1, the Tollman's purposive behaviorism theories. So these are the discussions of my co-members. So first is goal directedness. It is a Tollman asserted that learning is always purposive and goal directed. The second one is cognitive maps.
In behalf of Group 2, I will be the one who record the activity here. For Bandura's theory, there are four divisional process. First is attention, reproduction, and motivation. Attention is, according to Bandura, it is the organism is ready to learn anything from the model. So the people are already ready to learn the model. Then retention. Number 2, retention. Retention for Bandura is we learn and internalizing information in our memories. We recall the information later when acquired to respond to the situation that is similar to the situation within which the first learned and the information. Three, reproduction. We reproduce previously learned information. So, for example, behavior, skills, knowledge when required. Then, motivation. And last, the motivation. It is self-efficacy theory that belief become a primary, explicit explanation and for motivation.
Okay, thank you so much to each group. Okay, thank you so much for your cooperation. So now I will discuss about the Banduras. So Banduras is asserts that most human behavior is learned through observation, imitation, and modeling. So Albert Bandura was known for social learning theory. So now we will end. I will give a conclusion. So according to Tullman and Bandura's theories, learning is always purposive and goal-directed according to Tullman and Bandura's cognitive process and promotes learning to pupils and teaching new concepts. Learners may have their internet to fill in the knowledge they want. So that's all for our topic, and thank you so much for your cooperation and that.
So, good morning class.
Good morning.
So, our topic for today is, it tackles about 2 conditionings of behaviorism. So, is there anyone here knows or familiar about 2 conditionings of behaviorism? Okay, Mr.
The 2 conditioning of behaviorism are the operant and the classical.
Okay, thank you. So our topic for today is the classical and operant conditioning. So we will focus first to this conditioning, which is the classical conditioning. So Miss Mary Rose, can you please read the first sentence?
First described by Ivan Pavlov, a Russian physiologist.
So classical conditioning, it is first described by Ivan Pavlov, a Russian physiologist. So Mr. Angelo, can you please read the second sentence?
Focuses on involuntary automatic behaviors.
Miss I. Camila, third sentence.
Involves placing an natural signal before a reflex.
So it involves placing a neutral signal before a reflex. So did you hear about Pavlov dogs?
No.
No, so in his famous experiment, Ivan noticed dogs began to salivate in response to a tone after involves creating an association between a naturally existing stimulus and a previously neutral one. So, the classical conditioning process, it involves pairing a previously neutral stimulus such as the sound of the bell with an unconditioned stimulus, the taste of the food. So imagine a dog that salivates when it sees food. The animal does this automatically, right?
Yes.
Right. So he does not need to be trained to perform this behavior. It simply occurs naturally. So the food is naturally
Started to ring a bell every time you presented the dog with food. An association would be formed between the dog and the bell. Eventually, the bell alone or the unconditional stimulus would come to evoke the salivation process. So, Mr. Angelo, can you please read this sentence up to here? Here na lang.
This unconditioned stimulus naturally and automatically triggers salivating as a response to a food, which is known as the unconditioned response. After associating the neutral stimulus, the sound of the bell alone will start to evoke salivating as a response. The sound of the bell is how known as the conditioned stimulus, and salivating in response to the bell is known as the condition of response.
So, thank you, sir. So, let us put human as an example. When Honey is a child, she went to a dentist to get filling, because filling causes her a lot of pain. So, in this situation, the dentist is the unconditioned stimulus because the dentist causes Honey's pain, and the pain that Honey felt is the unconditioned response. So, by the way, don't forget to take down notes because I will going to check your notebook. So, proceed. Now, when Honey is adult, she goes to routine dental checkup, but she still feels a lot of stress. In this situation, the routine dental checkup is the conditional stimulus, while the stress that Honey felt is the conditioned response. So, let's proceed to the second one, the operant conditioning. So, Miss Early Joy, can you please read the first sentence?
First described by Boris Frederick Skinner, an American psychologist.
Miss Liza, second sentence.
Involves applying reinforcement or punishment after a behavior.
So, thank you. So, operant conditioning. So, for this paragraph, kindly read it in chorus.
Operant conditioning is based on the notion that learning is a result of change in overt behavior. Changes in behavior are the result of an individual's response to events that occur in the environment. Our response produces a consequence such as defining a word, hitting a ball, or solving a math problem. When a particular stimulus response pattern is reinforced, the individual is conditioned to respond.
So, did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure. Can you explain? Okay. So, operant conditioning focuses on using either reinforcement or punishment to increase or decrease a behavior. So, did you know what punishment is? Okay. So, proceed. Through their process, an association is formed between the behavior and the consequences of that behavior. So, for example, imagine that a school teacher punishes a student for talking out of turn by not letting the student
So today, both classical and operant conditioning are utilized for a variety of purposes by teachers, parents, psychologists, animal trainers, and many others.
In animal conditioning, a trainer might utilize classical conditioning by repeatedly pairing the sound of a clicker with the taste of food. Eventually, the response that the taste of food would. In classroom setting, a teacher might utilize operant conditioning by offering tokens as rewards for good behavior. Students can then turn in these tokens to receive some type of reward such as treat or extra playtime.
So in each of these instances, the good goal of conditioning is to produce some sort of change in behavior. So now let's proceed to our activity, which is called the 3 minutes activity. And in this activity, you'll be divided into 2. Just count off. So the group 1 will sit here in front and group 2 will at the back. So encircle your chairs. The group 1 will there and the group 2 here. Encircle your chairs, please. The group 1 here. So keep quiet, keep quiet. So in this activity, the group 1.
So I have here 2 folded papers. Then choose one representative from your group to pick here. And then this paper contains number 1 and number 2. The one who can pick the number 1 is the second presenter.
And will own the operant conditioning. And the one who can pick the number 2 will be the first presenter and will own the operant conditioning. So the representative can come here now and then pick one only. So who picks the number 2? So the group 1 will be the first presenter and the group 2 will be the second presenter. So in this activity, I will going to give you 5 minutes for you to discuss with your group on what are the strategies that can be used in that conditioning. So just like for example, in classical conditioning, what are the strategies that can be used in classroom? Just like same as the operant conditioning. So you can put your answers here for group 2 and for group 1, and kindly put your names at the back. I will going to give you 5 minutes to discuss with your group, and then 3 minutes for the presentation. And choose your representative to explain here in front. So your timer starts now.
So, are you done, class?
Yes, ma'am.
So, kindly please arrange your chairs properly. So, who will be the first presenter again?
The group 1.
Okay, you may start now.
The strategy of classical conditioning that can be used in the classroom are: it has been used as a successful form of treatment in changing or modifying behaviors such as substance abuse and smoking. Some therapies associated with classical conditioning include aversion therapy, systematic desensitization, and flooding.
Son?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. And then, are you already done putting your names?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. The second presenter. So my group has three strategies, apparent strategies that can be used in the classroom. First one is positive reinforcement. Students who line up quietly receive a smiley sticker. The second one is negative reinforcement. The teacher ignores a student who shouts out answers but calls on him when he raises his hand. And the third one is positive punishment. A student gets definition after being late for class too many times. Thank you then. So your answers, your all answers are correct. And then clap your hands. So that would be all. And before I forgot, can you
Kindly
please
pass your notes.
here in front? I will check. And then that's all.
At this moment, I'm going to present to you a graphic organizer for the summarization of our topic. And I have here the names of the students. I will choose 5 names of students since I have prepared 5 questions. With regards to the graphic organizer, the student who can answer the question will receive a punishment. Okay, for the first question, I will choose Shakira Fabe. Please come here in front. So your question is, what are the 4 concepts of Tolman's theory?
The 4 concepts of Tolman's theory: the goal-directedness, cognitive maps, latent learning, intervening variables.
Very well said. You now take your seat. Second question, I will choose Angel Sumarcom. Come here in front. Your question is, what is behaviorism in your own words?
Okay, behaviorism is the prediction and control of human behavior.
Oh, thank you for that answer, Angel Sumalpong. Okay, you may now take your seat. For the third question, I will choose Clifford Nunez. Come here in front. Your question is, what are the 3 primary laws of Thorndike's theory?
3 primary laws: law of effect, law of exercise, law of readiness.
Okay, very well said. You may now take your seat. For the fourth question, I will choose Rocklight Fabe. Your question is, what do you mean by operant conditioning?
Operant conditioning is a kind of learning that is a result of change in overt behavior.
Thank you for your answer. You may now take your seat. For the last question, I will choose Adame Fabian. Your question is, what do you mean by neo-behaviorism?
Neo-behaviorism is the one that introduces mitigating variables.
Okay, very well said. Thank you so much for your answer. You may now take your seat. Okay, class, thank you so much for your participation, and that's all for today's session. And for your assignment, I want you to research and reflect the significance of behaviorism and neo-behaviorism. Did you get it, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Goodbye, class.
Goodbye.